3, 2, 1,
Jingle! Happy time has just begun. Brother, sister, smart, dumb, fun. Yeah!
I'm hearing it. What's up, everybody? It's the Brother Sisters, and we're live on, what day is this?
It's Saturday.
Saturday. That's so weird. I actually don't think we did those today because we were having a different speaker do its thing. I think. I don't know. We're having audio difficulties. Figures. Hang on. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do about that right now. So hopefully you guys are hearing this. If you're watching, hopefully you're hearing this. If not, I might have to go to the Facebook and see if we're actually hearing this. So hang on. Yeah, we're doing this on a Saturday because we have big plans, you guys.
Big plans.
Big plans. All right, let's see what's happening. Hang on.
Okay.
Let's see if we can hear this.
Oh, yeah.
It works. Yeah, okay, good. We got it. Okay, good. All right. All right. Anyway, you guys, welcome. It is a Saturday. Unusual because we are traveling tomorrow. We are going to Marquette, Michigan, otherwise known as Marquette, Michigan, because we've never experienced Marquette in the wintertime before. No. We're the children of summer when it comes to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So we figured we needed to go see Michigan in its winter, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in its winter glory.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's rained the last couple days there, but you know.
Yeah, it's like it was 52 today down in the southern part of the state. So global warming is alive and well in southern Michigan. It's weird because this is the second December in a row that we've had a really above average warm December. So it was 45 degrees here on Christmas or something like that. Maybe it was only like 35 degrees, but still because last year we actually went outside and had brunch outside and had a fire outside because it was really warm on Christmas Day as well. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah. Duncan and I went for a walk on Christmas Day.
Joe and I went for a walk on Christmas Day as well. It was lovely.
It was lovely.
So, yeah, it was.
And then we had sausage and eggs.
Yeah. We had frittata. I made a what kind of frittata was it? It was like a sausage and pepper and caramelized onion frittata.
Oh, fancy.
It was fancy. I'm fancy like that, you know? Yeah. As you'll learn today in our winter activities, the winter activity that I like to do most is cooking and eating. So there you go.
I like to eat. I don't.
Yes, I know. Anna doesn't like to cook so much. That's okay. We have our talents. So yeah. So anyway, welcome. We are talking about winter fun things to do because it's winter officially, and you know just because it's winter doesn't mean we're not bears. We don't get to hibernate, so we have to make the best of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it's really easy to just try to not do things because it's winter. So this is a way to inspire you to get out and do things or stay in and do things, but not completely hibernate during winter because you don't have to. There's things you can do. So
exactly.
There you go. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. Okay, we're going to throw this on there. I'm going to get rid of this thing. There it is. It's Winter Fun and Games with the Brother Sisters, Ann and Janice Brothers. So there you go. All right. Ann, would you like to do the synopsis or would you like me to do the synopsis this week?
Well, I did it last week, so you do it this week.
Okay. That sounds great. Hi, everybody. We are the Brother Sisters. I'm Janice Brothers. With me is my sister.
Ann Brothers.
That's correct. And we are the Brother Sisters. Our last name is Brothers. We are sisters. We are in our 50s, which means we are Generation X, which I think is the best generation. I really do too. We are this generation that's we have a foot in both worlds of the new millennials and Gen Zers, and then you got the old folks like the greatest generation and the
boomers,
the baby boomers. So yeah, we're like that. We got a little bit of us in everywhere. It also means that our parents misplaced us in stores.
That used to be a thing where, like, you'd hear, if you are little Johnny Stevenson, you need to come to the front desk. We used to hear that all the time in stores. And Jenny got misplaced twice.
I did. My mom abandoned me in a couple. One of them was, I don't remember where I was, but she dropped.
It was the 3D.
It was the 3D. Yes, it was the
Which
3D.
was like a Kmart.
Yes. And mom went shopping for something. And I usually walked over to the TVs because there was usually some sportsing on they were showing the big TVs at 3D. And I just, I was there a while. I was just like, gosh, mom's taking a long time. So I started walking around the store looking for mom to see if I can find her. Man, I could not find her. And this went on for like an hour. And I was like, and it never occurred to me that she left. I was just like, I just figured she was in the dressing room or we were doing that thing where, we're just not finding each other.
The thing is, mom was already back at home yelling at me because she wanted to know where Jenny was. Where's Jenny? You tell me where your sister is. And I was like, oh, I've been watching Creature Feature.
So finally, I just did what you're supposed to do when you get lost in the woods. I just went back to the TVs. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do in the woods, but I'm like, I'll just stand here and eventually she'll find me. So anyway, I'm standing there watching TV. I don't remember what sport. I think it was baseball because it was summer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there watching baseball and she comes firing in. She's like, just screaming at me. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why are you doing? I'm just standing here. And it turns out she's screaming at me because she left me. It's my fucking fault. She left me.
See, I always assumed that mom would leave me in a store purposely and never return. So I always made sure I knew where Cynthia was because I was like, she's going to leave me here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be an orphan, which I was like,
that ain't so bad.
So I was kept an eye on because I was like, I know she wants to leave me. But Jenny was like, la, 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 la.
Yeah, anyway, I got in trouble for getting left at the store for literally doing nothing more than what I always did when we went to 3D or Kmart, which was to go find the TV so I could watch some sportsing that was always on one of the TVs.
Yeah, so that happened a lot to children in the 70s.
Yeah.
That you would, your kids would run off and then you would lose track of them, or they'd be playing hide and seek in the clothes or something.
Yeah. I would say
it was not a thing anymore.
Yeah, the parents weren't as diligent about tracking us. Yeah, so that's one of those things that, again, that whole latchkey neglected sort of, that was kind of it's fine.
Neglect and hose water. Exactly. It's like if you got kidnapped, you're just going to get yelled at anyway.
Yeah, and then we were basically told not to bring it up. Not to bring it up that my mother abandoned me at 3D in Sturgis, Michigan. So, yeah, don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, anyway, so that's part of who we are. So, we like to talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three, as you're finding out very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We are not cool, hip, or sexy, and we know this because for some reason people think that we are in charge and will help them. God damn if that is not the truest statement ever. You guys, every week, there literally is not a time when I go into a store that somebody doesn't ask me where something is. It never fails. Where was I the other day? I was at the bookstore. I was at BookBook. It was yesterday. I was at BookBook and I had gone over to, I bought an anniversary card for my parents. And then I went over to go look for something. And this lady brings this book to me and asks me how much it is. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't work here. But then, of course, I did point to her on the back of the book where you could find where the price was, because it was just a paperback book and they always have the prices right on the back. I'm like, well, it's right here. So,
oh, that's so funny. I had one person ask me one time where capers were, and then she asked me, and then I showed her, and then she asked me what capers were, and then I explained it to her.
We're not helping our cause, Anne.
Not. In fact, whenever we would go to Cedar Point, because when I was a teacher, we would take kids to Cedar Point. Every year, there'd be like 3 of us that hung out together, and people all the time were asking us where stuff was.
It's just a symptom of knowing things. And the truth is, if you do spend enough time in a grocery store, you just know where the capers are.
Right.
The capers are right there by the olives, and the olives are in the salad dressing aisle where all of the condiments are.
Exactly.
Duh.
Exactly. I was like, where's the capers? I'm like, oh, that's a good question.
They're next to the other salad fixings.
It's like, I think they're down here near the olives.
They are.
I was like, it's a pickled thing, so somewhere where the pickled foods are.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not cool, hip, or sexy. Because if you need help, we will try to help.
We'll try to help you because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
We are, in terms of what kind of podcast this is, we are not a celebrity influencer or true crime podcast. You're not going to see us in Thailand chillaxing.
No.
Okay, because apparently, according to my cousin Joe, there's a whole culture of people in Thailand that they just chill. And they influence in their chilling. We're not that.
No.
So, yeah, we're not. Yeah. So anyway, we are like I said, we're not a celebrity or influence podcast. We're like the donut case window of podcasts. You are excited to see us. You can't make up your mind which one is the best. You're not sure which one you really want.
So you got to go with a dozen.
You got to go with a dozen. And the good news is we have dozens of shows for you to watch.
Dozens.
So you can pick one, decide which one. There you go. We've been told that we are great to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff. It's kind of our thing. And because it's almost New Year's Eve and you want to put off your resolutions for at least another hour. So instead of making your resolutions or trying to do those resolutions, you can just listen to us instead.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We won't make you feel guilty.
No, we will not make you feel guilty about not sticking to your, actually not even making resolutions.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though next week's show is about resolutions, but that's okay. Yeah, whatever.
It's more of a 2024.
Kind of a retrospective. Yes. So this podcast, as you probably have figured out immediately, is not rated G or PG or even PG-13 because we say fuck. Yeah. A lot. So yes. You can join us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Ring the bell, hit the thing, do the stuff, follow us. Please leave us a review, comment, stuff like that. Engage with us. We will engage back.
Yes.
Give us your feedback on our questions and answers and our polls. And you can always ask Alexa to play us. Alexa, play the Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun. Oops,
I think she just hung up on us.
Try that again. Alexa, play the podcast Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun.
Sisters, Smart, Dumb, Fun. From Amazon Music. Resuming Season 1, Episode 18, Brothers Sisters, March 10th, 2024. Yumming it up.
Yumming it up.
Look at that. This is so meta. I can't even believe it. What? Okay, Alexa. Stop and thank you. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. You can tell because we're together today because we're next to my kitchen where I have my Alexa. So
and I don't have an Alexa. So
that's right. Because
there you go.
Anne's not a slave. Me, I'm a slave.
Not yet.
All right. No, and you don't have to be, there's many different ways not to be a slave. So there you go. Hey, so every week we always talk about the smart, dumb, or fun stuff that we saw, experienced, lived during the week. So Anne, why don't you start us off with your smart, dumb, or fun stuff this week?
I was going back and forth. Was it fun? Was it smart? It was definitely not dumb. I saw the movie Nosferatu. Duncan and I saw it on Christmas Day because that was awesome. So it was, it's the newest vampire movie. I really liked the movie, and I don't know if I would call it fun because it harkens back to like the older vampire movies before vampires got sexy and sparkly. This was if you want a good horror vampire movie, it's great. If you're not into a horror movie, you do not want to see this movie, but I really enjoyed it because I love a good horror movie. And this was, the best, if I could only give one word, I would say it's almost grotesque. Yeah, so that's how it really and the truth is, vampires like the you think about the early novels about and the early movies, it was like the Dracula was not a sexy dude. He was kind of like
balding and weird looking,
kind of gross,
funky ears.
So it was. There's also a really good underlying like feminist thing. The main character the whole time is telling all these men, there is something wrong. Bad things are going to happen. Everybody's going to die. And they're all like, oh, sweetie, maybe your womb is wandering or your it's too tight. So that was another thing, the underlying of this book, where she's like finally screaming at this one guy, we are all going to die. And he's like, yeah, I'm out. So it was, sometimes the movie was a little bit long. It's over 2 hours and it didn't need to be. It probably could have gotten away with about an hour and 40, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So it was kind of long sometimes, but in general, it was if you want we've seen a couple not very good vampire movies this year. This was a good one. So it was a very smart movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know if I would call it fun, but yeah, it was totally worth your while.
I love the fact that they released a vampire movie on Christmas because nothing says, hey, holiday season, like classic vampirism,
Exactly. Suck the life out of you. Not emotionally, real.
Is that a metaphor for the holidays? Okay,
Anyway.
it's just a thought. Well, Anne, I didn't do anything as intellectual or productive as that. I've been kind of rewatching all of Game of Thrones because it's literally one of my favorite shows ever, and it's become sort of a comfort show for me. I watch it a lot when I grade, so I've been kind of working my way up to it. So right on Christmas Day, we had we just started season 8 right on Christmas morning. And so Joe and I spent the day watching all of season 8 of Game of Thrones, which has gotten a very bad rap, and deservedly so. It's so bad. It's so dumb, and it makes me so mad. My thing is dumb. It's season 8 of Game of Thrones, which is fucking terrible. It was terrible the first time, and I thought maybe because I was intentionally, you're so into trying to figure out what's going to happen that you're not watching enough and watching really closely. Well, I watched this one super close. And it's so bad. Everything about season 8 is mismanaged. The writing is mismanaged. The acting is mismanaged. The picture I have included is the infamous scene where they forgot to take Emilia Clarke's Starbucks cup away, so it's in the scene. Fuck me, sorry, but the story is not, and part of it for me is that the story is nonsensical, where all of a sudden where these characters are acting a certain way and doing these things all throughout the first, I'm going to say 6 seasons, because it really does go off the rail when they run out of source material from George R.R. Martin, which is season 7 and season 8. And it just continues to go off the rails and off the rails and off the rails. And it just never gets good. It's nonsensical. They rushed it. I don't know what they decided they needed to finish it in, 13 episodes over the last 2 seasons instead of what should have been 20. And they just messed it up. And it just makes me so mad. And I want it to end right. Make it right.
Make it better.
Fix it. Part of it is that you get so invested in these characters. And then when the characters stop being these characters because they've so altered them to fit whatever ridiculous storyline they cooked up when they were high one night. I don't know.
I just thought they hired like a different writer every 10 minutes.
I felt like it. It's so mismanaged. Anyway, I know I should just get over it, but I haven't yet. All right. Come on, man. You know what it was? It's because they did it so badly. They didn't even try.
Go see Nosferatu. Do not see season 8
of Game of Thrones. Just skip it. Stop. Honestly, just stop at the end of season 6 and let your imagination do the rest.
Yeah. And then
what you come up with in your head is going to be 100 times better than what they put out on HBO and whatever year, 2020 or whatever year that they did that.
Starbucks.
Seriously.
Oh my God. Really?
Just a quick reminder, you can always support the Brothers Sisters for free by liking, subscribing, leaving reviews, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Sharing is caring. And if you want to support us, you can do it for absolutely free. All you got to do is share and then get your people to share and get those people to share, get those people to share and share. And then boom, we're viral.
Exactly.
The good kind of viral, not the kind of viral that you're going to need medication for.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. Good. All right. So let's get on with it. And we have now chatted up for 17 and a half minutes. Let's talk about what we came here for, which was winter fun with the Brothers Sisters.
Exactly.
I found myself, Anne, really missing. In fact, I wanted to put winter camp as the only thing I ever wanted to do, but winter camp isn't a thing anymore. So I know it's super bitter about that.
Super sad.
Yeah. Okay.
2016. That was last year. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about winter camp later. We'll review that. We'll talk about that as we get onto this. But yes, let's talk about winter fun with the Brothers Sisters, and let's start right here with indoors or outdoors. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
And take it from here.
Well, I was thinking, like, what do I like to focus on when I think of indoor fun? And that's to get cozy. And, I kept hearing, like, I work with a lot of younger people right now, and they're all talking about what cozy thing. They're like, what do you like to do in the winter? I'm like, well, I don't really like to go outside. And they're like, no, what do you like? What cozy thing do you like to do? And I remember it being last year, I kept hearing, oh, how do you get cozy? So I'm like, that's what I was going to focus on for indoor activities, was being cozy. And for me, being cozy means that I have a heated blanket. And my sister-in-law, Liz, my friend Liz and sister-in-law introduced me to the plug-in throw blanket. Oh, I love that. So that helps me get cozy. Having a hot beverage. I personally prefer a hot chocolate, but maybe you're like a hot toddy sort of person. You got to have lots of pillows and bolsters to help keep you, propped and comfortable. If you have a fireplace, a fire is nice. If you have cats, if you start to get cozy, your cats are going to pile on you. You're going to get even more cozy. And then, of course, the perfect hoodie or sweatshirt, something that you can put over your head and really bury yourself down in, So there you go. It's like hoodies and sweatshirts. So that's what it means to be cozy on the inside in the winter. Now, if you're outdoors, you want to be active and moving so you don't freeze to death. So, wear warm clothes, dress in layers, cover your head, more hot beverages, maybe definitely some warm shoes or boots. Bonfire?
Never skimp on boots.
Never skip on boots.
Mm-mm.
Ooh, hand warmers, those kinds you break up and you stick in your gloves. So that's what I'm like. If you're going to be outside doing stuff, do those things. It's not necessarily cozy, but you can keep yourself warm. So there you go.
For me, I didn't really understand the cozy thing until Joe and I were living in Wisconsin, and we were renting a house that was kind of like an old cottage. And so it was not well insulated.
Mhm.
And the little furnace in that was not a very good furnace. And so it was really cold in that little place. And so learned to get cozy in order to keep from dying during the wintertime. So, like I started wearing a toque, as you can see, I've got one here, pretty much full time in the house, and decided that I just really liked it. It made me feel cozy. And then I spent a lot of time in bed because it was really cold. And so, like we had some mornings where you would wake up and it was literally 35 degrees below zero, not wind chill, actual temperature. So those are the days that you kind of stay in bed and you got your electric blanket on. And it was like literally just covered with cats, just because they're just like, I must be close to you. So that was kind of my first venture into cozy. And, since we've, moved back to Michigan, we don't really have that as much. Our house is well insulated. It's a 5-star energy house and, that sort of thing. But it's still nice every now and then to get cozy. And it usually involves a bed, a book, and a cat. So, and then a cup of coffee. That's my heated beverage of choice. And I had a friend of mine that I taught with last year, Bill. This is for you. Where he said there are a few problems that can't be solved by a warm beverage, and dude was 100% right.
I know,
100%. He's not wrong. So, so if you have a hot coffee or a hot cocoa, and I actually really love warm apple cider. Yummy.
That's so good.
Yummy. And you don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to booze it up at all. It's just really good, just nice and warm. It's yummy.
Cinnamon, maybe.
A little sweetie. Yeah, it's delicious.
Exactly.
So yeah, and as far as outdoor, you learn to dress well for the outdoors. And that's one of the things when I did my field study years ago was that our instructor was like, never skimp on tent or boots. And he was not wrong. And so if you're going to buy winter boots, really do your homework on that. Find a good insulated boot or find a good knockoff insulated boot. Find the best boot you can possibly find. And if you do that, you're going to drop anywhere between $200 and $400 for those boots. And then go find the knockoff of those boots at like Target or something, because you can find decent winter boots. But if you're really serious about being outdoors, spend good money on good boots.
Yeah.
Not just warmth, but also tread as well. So, and you've got a pair of Sorels in the picture there. Sorel's a real nice boot. That's one of many really good ones. So
yeah. So I just
yes, and also I'm going to tell you that if you're going to be outdoors, work to layer. You're going to want a good pair of long underwear or silk long underwear or something that allows you to layer up. So like something like you'll want like some sort of underlayer like that, and maybe some fleece pants, and then some sort of windbreaking pant over the top of that, like a snow, like a snowboarder's pants or snow pants or something like that, just to kind of help keep you going. And then if you get too hot, you can always kind of strip those layers down. Always work to keep your core warm, because that's going to help keep the blood in your extremities. Once your core temperature starts to lower, that's when the blood starts to come from your extremities to try to keep your core warm, because it's trying to keep your heart beating. So that's one of those things too to keep in mind. Start with your core and work your way out. Hot hands are a great investment. They're not very expensive. They're just little oxidizer packs. They basically you break them up and then they start a little oxidation reaction that keeps your hands nice and warm. Yeah, and that's honestly, that's like gold. Also, those are great in your boots too if you get stationary and you need to. But if you're active outdoors, just remember that you stop and you start to, if you've been sweating outdoors and you start to cool off, that's when it gets dangerous. That's why it's important that once you're done with your outdoor activities, that you have layers to put over the top of you to try to keep you as warm as you possibly can. So keep that in mind for after you're done with your activity and you start to cool down, that you have layers to put on over the top of you.
Or just stay inside and be cozy.
Or you can stay inside and be cozy. It's funny because when I was living in Colorado, I had friends that were skiers, and I was never a skier. And I tried one time. I took a snowboarding lesson, and pretty much determined immediately that I hated this more than anything ever for so many reasons. And so I basically took up the art of reading next to the fire in the lodge while drinking, waiting for my friends to finish skiing.
That sounds amazing.
It was great.
I love that story.
It is. I'm going to make a movie about that story.
Exactly. That's very inspiring.
Or I would do is sometimes I would bring my snowshoes up there and I would find a place to snowshoe on the property, and then I'd snowshoe for a little while, and then I'd go back and partake in the art of relaxing with a
Exactly.
drink.
Oh, you know how Joe was saying that everybody was chilling? What was it?
In Thailand, yes. They were relaxing, this culture of relaxation.
Well, maybe that's what they do in the summer, and in the winter they get cozy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
mhm.
I see. I love what they've done there.
Yeah,
So,
me too.
yeah. All right. So those are some ways that you can be active indoors or outdoors. Let's get specific about some stuff, and let's talk about your indoor activities, what you like, and how you go about doing those things.
Okay, well, I like in the summer I garden, so I don't do a lot of other activities because I have such a big garden that I'm working on. So in the winter is when I do most of my projects, and right now I'm knitting. I'm knitting. The place I work is a little chilly.
Okay, time out. I'm just going to say something real quick. The fact that my sister knits now is unbelievable to me, because you got to understand, Anne started knitting in 4-H when we were kids. Anne was 10, and it was painful to watch. Watching Anne knit
and watching my mother watch me knit.
Watch Anne knit made me never ever want to pick up a pair of knitting needles, because it was a battle. And then this one time we were at Grandma's house and Anne messed up something in her knitting and she started to cry and cry and cry. And then Grandma took it from her and undid everything and then re-knitted the whole thing for her. It was like, Grandma Avis, you were the best. You were the absolute best.
I decided a number of years ago that I needed to take knitting back and not make it hellacious. So anyway, I am knitting right now. I'm knitting myself a scarf for work.
Good job, Ann Brothers.
And then I found this really gorgeous, thick yarn. And so I'm going to knit a skirt.
Okay.
I know. I'm very excited about that.
I'm excited for you. I'm looking forward to seeing this skirt, as are our viewers and listeners.
I know. So
yes,
I have a couple ideas. So I'm in the process of that. My husband, I also found all these little crocheted squares at a secondhand store, so I bought them. So I'm turning that into a skirt too, but I didn't crochet those. But for Christmas, my husband bought me a little crochet kit. It's the Woobles crochet kits, and it's a bat. So I brought that with us to go up north. I also embroider. I have my bro pillow line, and I'm in the process of embroidering a flower motif that is subversive.
Okay, yay!
I like to color and draw. In fact, Duncan bought me these really cool paint markers I'm very excited about. So I do like to color and draw. I love to read. I totally love to read, like getting myself all in my nest with all my cats and reading. I'm pretty sure my cats can read because I know they sit on my lap while I'm reading. I'm pretty sure they're reading too. Latch hook. I haven't done latch hook in a while, but it's fun and stupid. And like sometimes like we'll be going someplace and I'll not bring a project and realize that I'm going to be in trouble. So I'm like, I'll stop at the Michaels and pick up the dinosaur latch hook. So fun. I keep a journal and I do a lot of art projects in the journal. So a lot of the drawing and coloring that I do ends up in my journal. So, and of course, napping. Man, there's nothing as restorative as a nice, cozy winter nap. And then, of course, hot chocolate. And I have like 4 different types of hot chocolate that I rotate through. And I'm like, ooh, yay,
speaking of that, did you happen to open the things that did you open the things that I gave you for your box?
I have not yet.
You're going to want to do that.
Okay.
You're going to want to do that sooner than later. Well, you're going to want to do it before spring hits.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So very good.
Those are special Chicago treats.
Oh. So anyway,
yeah.
Those are things that I like to do in my cozy activities in my house.
Nice.
If you are interested in learning like any of these like needlework sort of stuff, knitting, crocheting, embroidery, can I recommend the Klutz activity books? And these are actually meant for children, but they're so straightforward and they usually come with all the supplies. And it's a good place to start. Like, it's like you can go and drop a lot of money on a new hobby. But if you get one of these Klutz books, it comes with all the directions and the supplies you need, and you spend like $30 to $35. You find out if you want to do this really, and then if you don't, you're out a little bit.
But
if
you're
you
not.
do want to,
It's not a lifelong commitment.
Exactly, and it's the same with the Woobles crochet kit. You get everything to make one little project. They have all these video instructions for you. It's super straightforward. They have different levels, beginner, intermediary, and advanced. Again, you drop $35. You find out if it's something you want to do, and if you do one, you make it. You're like, yay! I never want to do this again. That's okay. If you want to read, and I was talking with a couple of women I work with, and they're like, I don't know where to start. I want to start reading more. May I suggest a book club? And you don't even have to it could be one like that you join through your library or your local bookstore, and they'll just recommend something for you. And that might be where you find like what you like and what you don't like, is what other people recommend.
Totes.
And then make yourself a book nook at home or a reading nook, where you like set up your comfy chair and your like little table next to you where your Coco can sit.
My book nook is over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I read there all the time when I'm visiting, where the kitty can come and get on you and there's blankies. So, that's kind of fun too, is like you just make your own space. And like, this is my reading space. And like I said, if you have an animal that lives in your house, especially a cat, maybe dogs probably do it too. But man, in the winter, I'm like, as soon as I sit on the couch, covered with cats. So
yeah, they're your cats are probably two of the more snuggly cats. Of course, if I do any reading in bed, Marla's on my leg immediately, and she does this. She's like, "Oops, like pet me." So I gotta. It's hard because I gotta read with one hand, pet
with
the other, because Marla she will not be ignored. Thank you very much.
No, she will not. Yeah. So yes, so that's those are the cozy things that I like to do in the winter.
Good job, Ann Brothers. Ann's indoor cozy activities. So excellent. Very good. All right. So my indoor activities. Actually, Ann, could you do me a favor? Can you hand me a couple of coasters from over there? So I am less. My brain does not seem to let me spend lots of time on projects. So I get like super obsessed with one thing and then I let it go. And then I get back to it and then I kind of let it go. So for me, I love puzzles. That's probably one of my favorite things to do. I always have. That's how I figured out Pangea when I was a kid, because I was sitting there daydreaming in one of my classes in 4th grade when I noticed on the map of the world that South America and Africa fit together. And because I was really into puzzles at that point, it made perfect sense. And I like figured it all out right there. I was super excited. And then, of course, I found out that somebody else had thought of it first. Thanks, Alfred Wegener.
Whatever loser,
exactly. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so I do really like to do things like every now and then I'll get inspired by a project. I made coasters, and so what I did is I took a map of Michigan and I cut it up, and I found tiles on the internet that have the back that you can glue on, and then my sister taught me how to do decoupage. And then once I learned how to decoupage, then I made my own coasters out of different places that I like in Michigan. So like here's Marquette, which we're going to tomorrow. Here's Petoskey. Here's Isle Royale. And then I've got like Kalamazoo and all that stuff. So anyway, so that's one of my fun things that I like to do. The other thing, in order to mitigate and temper my rage, I doodle a lot. So my Aunt Julie got me a book a number of years ago. It's called Zentangle. And it is basically teaches you the art of doodling for meditation. And so my rage doodles have become semi-famous, especially amongst my teacher cohorts, because sometimes at a meeting when I am at my most impatient and angry, I will doodle in order to temper my rage. So I've got some examples of my doodles here. I got to find them real quick. So this is one of my rage doodles. And they're usually nonsensical. I usually literally just start with a line, and then I build from the line in whatever is in my head. And then if I have color, I put colors down in no particular order. So this is one of my rage doodles. It's based on an Ammonite because I like those. And then this is one of my other rage doodles. So see,
it keeps you from telling people exactly what you think.
Correct. It's kept me. I would say my rage doodling has kept me from getting fired many times. Yeah. So that's one of the things I like to do. I'm not much of an artist, so I have a little set of art supplies. Nothing big, just honestly, it's mostly just colored pens and some colored pencils and some erasers. And I've got a really great coloring book or two. And yeah, but I honestly, my favorite things to do is just the doodles. And that little Zentangle book is just full of these really cool ideas and things you don't think about. So I really like that. I spend a lot of time learning new technologies for my job and my future job. So I do spend a decent amount of time learning things like Camtasia and Storyline and Rise and all these other which are technologies I end up using for school. I like to look at birds from inside my house. That's one of my favorite things to do because it's fun to watch the birds change. Like, for instance, I saw for the first time a bunch of juncos today.
Oh.
So the juncos have arrived, and I don't have any food out there because I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
Mhm.
So, and I was going to do it today, but then I forgot. The
Yeah.
juncos are so mad. So I
Mhm.
might throw some food out there before we leave. Anyway, let's see. I like to cook and bake, though I don't do it enough because I'm super busy with everything else. And my husband begs me not to bake things because my husband has 0% control over sugar. He loves it so much, and I get it. So, I like to play cribbage and or backgammon in a bar with my husband or whomever. Do I like doing that? Yeah, I do. I do like doing it. But games are tough for me. I don't love playing games because somebody ruined me for games when we were children.
Jenny was good at everything, but I was good at cheating at games and winning.
Yeah. And that made me really mad because I'm super competitive.
Jenny's super competitive. She's like, why is my older stupid sister beating me?
Correct.
Because I was cheating.
And doing very good at sly.
Mhm.
Anyway, so yeah, we do cribbage and backgammon. Those games are making me smarter somehow because it's all the counting, especially all the counting that you do in cribbage. It's a lot of counting. I go to the gym. We join the Y. It's nice. I love to watch football until February and then suffer for the rest of the winter because the only thing left is the NBA, which is terrible, and the Red Wings, who are terrible this year. So again. I like to go to museums and stuff. The nice thing is that every little town has its own museum. And then if you live in a big town, there's tons of museums. So there you go. As far as how you do them, tell people you like puzzles, and then they give you puzzles. And then do the puzzles. Figure it out. As far as making coasters, I just figured it out. I asked my sister how to decoupage stuff. She taught me, and then I just figured it out. I went to the internet and said, can I buy these things? Like the little tile squares with the sticky stuff on the back? You can. Let's see. As far as doodling, just doodle to make you feel better. There's no art to it. It's whatever makes you happy. As far as learning new technologies, spend a lot of time on YouTube. If I want to bird watch, I look out my window. If I want to shovel, I do shovel a lot of snow in the wintertime because shoveling is actually fairly therapeutic for me. I like it because it's kind of like mowing the lawn. It's this cool thing that requires a lot of work. And then when you look back on it, you're like, yeah, that's great. So I like to shovel. I will probably die of a heart attack shoveling. That's fine. It'll be quick. All right. Let's see. If you want to work out, go to the Y. If you want to watch football until February, great. Good luck trying to figure out which streaming service or network is showing the football because it's a mess right now. Like, I was talking to my dad Christmas Day. He's like, we couldn't find football. I'm like, it's on Netflix. He's like, what the hell are you doing on Netflix? Football doesn't go there. I'm like, well, it did on Christmas. Fun fact, I watched the halftime show of the second game with Beyonce. That girl can kill it. She killed it. I was reading all the comments, and people were really mean to her, but I thought it was really entertaining. And I love the fact that she included a marching band.
I know. Love that.
I do too. I don't know which marching band it was, but I really enjoyed that. So yeah, Beyonce, I thought it was amazing. Let's see. And then as far as museums and tours and stuff, just go to the interweb. You'll find it. It's there.
It's there.
So yeah, good.
Everything's there. You just have to look.
Everything is on the internet. All right. Okay, Anne,
Mhm.
you are next up, and we're going to talk about, it's my outdoor activities. Okay, my outdoor activities. Go outside and get any amount of vitamin D. That's my favorite thing to do because it really is, even if it's cloudy outside, I try to get outside even a little bit because it's so hard to come by. And I live on the western part of Michigan, which is, we catch all those clouds off of Lake Michigan. It's been super cloudy. In fact, it was like the sun went down and like right before sundown, the clouds cleared up for the first time in days, and it lasted 40 minutes.
I was going to say, I went for a walk today because it was like in the 50s today.
Yeah.
The sun was out for like 25 minutes. I was like,
yep.
Hey, getting vitamin D.
Yep. The sun came out and then it went down immediately. And you're like, damn it. Snowshoeing, unless there's no snow, and then it's just walking. Cross-country skiing, which is cross-country skiing unless there's no snow, and then it's just walking.
Mhm.
Again, bird watching, but this time I'll do it outside instead of inside. I like to clean my car off after it snows. I consider that to be a form of outdoor winter activity,
Especially if you're at school.
and especially when you're at school. I do have a completely bitchin' snow brush. It's big.
Mhm.
It's got all the extensions. It's a
Nice.
big girl
Nice.
brush because
Hmm.
I'm a big girl.
Mhm.
All right. Find a winter festival. I like to find winter festivals to hang out at, especially if there are ice sculptures. Ice sculptures are cool.
That is cool.
Unfortunately, it's been so warm these last couple of winters that
Mhm.
there hasn't been a lot of ice sculpturing. Sorry to say.
No.
So, um, actually worked a fun little festival in Portage around the beginning of December. It was part of a chaperoning thing for the freshman class service event. It was actually really fun. It was a big thing where they have like a whole big festival with Santa Claus, and the ninth graders and I worked Santa's workshop where the kids made these cute little crafty things. They actually were very clever. You made little ornaments out of beads. It was fun.
Ooh.
It was really actually really cute. So that was really fun. And they had petting zoo. I know.
Did you get to pet a camel?
No, but I did get to pet the pony. Mini horse, my bad. It was like little Sebastian. No, I know. It was great. So yeah, so there's always something to do, and every town has festivals at some point during the winter.
Mhm.
I also highly recommend, and I didn't put this on my list, finding some sort of winter 5K because there's always some sort of winter 5K in January. And when you're at your most hopeless and need a little bit of motivation to like exercise in some way, shape, or form, because those resolutions start to get put to the test as soon as it's 10 degrees outside.
I think the coldest Duncan and I did the turkey trot in Traverse City a number of years ago, and it was 19
That's
degrees,
ambitious.
and there was like a 15-mile-an-hour breeze coming off Lake Michigan. Woof. We were huffing it, and we were still almost like you could feel and then people were pushing their war wagons with their kids in them, and the kids were, by the time we got to the end, the kids were all melting down because they were freezing. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the coldest I've ever exercised
Yes.
outdoors in. It tests your
Test you,
resolve.
yes.
Mhm.
If you are if you want to do like outdoor walking when the weather is really cold, again, make notes of the things I said earlier about how you want to dress for that. And then also highly recommend, there's different companies are called Yaks or Tracks.
Mhm.
They're little elastic things you put on your shoes that have little nubbins at the bottom that kind of keep you from slipping all over the place. They're not super expensive and they're a great investment. They will keep you upright on some snowy, icy surfaces. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, good. So, all right, let's talk about Anne's outdoor winter activities.
Anne's outdoor winter activities. I don't like to be outdoors in the wintertime, but if the sun is out and it isn't windy and it's not too cold, and I'm talking like usually not below 30 degrees Fahrenheit or even a little warmer, I do like to go for hikes. Often we go to like the Kensington Metro Park in the winter. They do they have a couple of hiking trails, and the birds are habituated to humans feeding them from their hands. So they'll come and land on your hands and take seed from it. It is super cool.
Hand of snacks.
So, anyway, I will go for hikes in the winter. Or if it's, sometimes like I'm sick of the gym and I just want to be outside, I'll go for a walk outside. But in general, I am not very interested in being outside in the winter. In fact, I wish I was a bear so I could just put on weight all summer and then go to sleep in like November and wake up skinny and hungry and start it all over again in like March. Oh man, that's my dream. So, but since I can't, I usually just stay indoors. But I do try to get some. If it's at least 30 degrees, the sun, is kind of shining, and it's not too windy because the wind here, that makes
It'll open you up.
big difference.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if you walk around, like because we live in the country and we have this big like fields, and the wind comes right off that when you first start your walk. You're like, nope, turn around, I'm going back. I'm done with this.
Yeah, I already hate this.
So that's the only thing I really do outside in the winter is I will go for hikes. And of course, you can find like lots of great trails. State Parks is a good place. The Botanical Gardens in Ann Arbor, the Mathi Botanical Gardens has some really great walking trails. You can find city hiking trails like the Metro Parks around our area have great, walking trails. National parks, if you happen to be near a national park or even state land or, National Lake Shore, anything like that, you might be surprised. We have a couple of county parks that are just, within a couple miles of us. So again, check the internet, not just for doom scrolling, but, where you can go hiking and it's a good way. You don't have to be in super awesome shape. You just want to be able, and you don't have to stay out for like hours at a time, even if you just did a half an hour and then went and got yourself some cocoa.
Totally. Same thing with snowshoeing. Don't let snowshoeing fool you. Snowshoeing is just walking with better shoes.
With better shoes.
Well, so wait, we have a comment.
Hey.
Just notice that. Joe Peters, what about drinking Pink Ladies? Oh, girl! Which is funny because right now our husbands are both out drinking.
But not
Pink Ladies.
Because they're not cool enough.
No, they're drinking beer. They're bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Joe Peters. We're probably gonna have to go pick them up later. Probably. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, anyway, whatever. All right, thanks, Joe Peters, for your commentary. Yes. Anne had a pink lady earlier tonight.
I did. It was delicious.
Yes, and that's a great winter activity.
It is.
BTW. Which means, by the way, in text speak.
Oh.
I know. Wow. I know. That's what the cool kids do. All right. So here's other things that you can do in the winter. These are just random things that Anne put together on the list. Talk us through those things, Anne.
Well, I was just thinking about like what some of my friends do. Like my friend Jeannie is really into paint by numbers. If you would like to hear Jeannie, she did 2 different shows with us. She's in our archives for murder podcasts and also for hiking the Appalachian Trails.
Jeannie's the coolest, and she's probably running right now because she's a year-round runner.
She is a year-round runner.
Yes.
So but she also does paint by numbers, and she does these really intricate ones that have like these tiny, tiny, tiny squares. So it's quite impressive. Board games, if you're a board game person, that's a great way to have like a game night or a party night.
Yep.
That's fun.
Oh, euchre tournament.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You could build a fire outside. Do you have a bonfire, or build a fire inside? If you have a fireplace or anything like that, you can.
We grew up with a wood stove in our family room, which was nice. That's a great way to get cozy.
It's super great way to get cozy.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd like to sew. That's another thing that you can do indoors. You could go see a hockey game. So, as Jenny was talking about the Red Wings, there are plenty of people, no matter how bad they are, will still drive to Detroit to go see a hockey game. But you don't have to drive to Detroit if you're in Michigan. U of M has a good hockey team. There's a bunch of universities in Michigan that have very good hockey teams.
And actually, I have found the most enjoyable hockey that I've ever watched has been high school hockey.
See?
Yeah, because there's been a couple different schools that I've taught at that have high school programs or travel hockey. I've watched some of my students that they're on travel hockey teams, and I've gone to see their games. And honestly, it's some of the most fun hockey you'll watch because you just never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So, maybe you want to go see a game.
Yeah.
Or you could binge a series, as Jenny just was talking about. In fact, I am re-binging Better Call Saul.
I'm re-binging Dairy Girls as we speak. And binging Dairy Girls is so easy because it's 6 episodes a season, except season 3, which is 7, about 22 minutes an episode. Boom.
Yeah, you're done in no time.
Yeah, it's great.
So now if you are outdoors, there's a ton of activities you can do. You can downhill ski for some reason. You can ice skate also for some reason. You can surf.
Yes.
In the Upper Peninsula on Lake Superior. Surfing is a big thing in the winter.
Because they get big waves up there.
Big crashing waves. And man, I am not joking. It's an actual thing that people do. They actually have surfboard stores in northern Michigan in an area that's close to a boreal forest.
What?
I know.
What?
I know. It's like, I'm hoping that we'll see some surfing just because I want to go see it. I do not want to participate in it.
Well, when you think about how effing cold that water is, man, they've got the thickest wetsuits ever.
They're wearing seal, actually. So anyway, ice skating, surfing, you can play hockey. You can actually get out there and be a hockey player. I have to tell you that I've had a number of clients when I was a massage therapist who were hockey players who had some fucked up injuries. So, hockey is hard on the body. And if you fall wrong, man, some shoulder injuries, you're like, how the hell were you in a car accident? Were it tied in a knot? I'm like, no, I was playing hockey. I'm like, oh,
okay. Yeah, it makes that plays. Yeah.
Also, you can do curling, which is this thing that you do with brooms and it's stuff that slides on the ice.
When Joe and I were living in Wisconsin, we took a weekend and we did winter activities in Minnesota. And we took a weekend and we actually took a curling lesson at the St. Paul Curling Club. And I got to tell you, it was fun.
Don't they have like a curling club here in Kalamazoo?
They do. They have a curling club in Kalamazoo. So if you're in the Kalamazoo area and you want to learn to curl, you can learn to curl in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's like Detroit ones and
Yeah.
Ann Arbor, all over. I wouldn't be surprised if you could do this literally. If you took the time to check, you could probably do it anywhere in Michigan. So
Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. That was one of the more enjoyable things that I learned in the Great North was curling. Yeah, shockingly fun.
there you go. You can also go snowmobiling.
I don't like to go fast.
I don't either. I
yeah.
don't either. But some people enjoy
Some people
it.
love it.
And
Yeah.
it's something you can do in the winter. Sledding. Maybe your kids want to do it. Maybe you want to join them.
You careful
Good.
of that. Watch out for that. We went sledding once when we were in college.
Mhm.
That was the last time I was sledding.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it was also, I'm like, I don't remember it being that much work and so exhausting.
Exactly. And I was like, wow. The last time I did it was in college and it was exhausting. Then it'd be like I got polio now if I was lucky.
Hmm.
All right. So, or you can luge. I know there's a place
In
in
Muskegon.
Muskegon.
Muskegon has I can't think of the Muskegon Luge or something, but yeah, there's a luge place in Muskegon. I don't know that they're doing a big business right now because it was 52 degrees today.
Right.
But rumor has it that it's going to start cooling off again that first week of January. So watch out.
Yeah, so watch out. So luge, fun for the entire family. There's a toboggan run not too far from us, so you can go, which is kind of like old-fashioned luge. No curves; it's just down. So tobogganing,
So bumpy.
or you could go ice fishing. People spend big money to drive their trucks onto the ice and have shanties and kegs of beer. I just assumed it was a way to get drunk in an outhouse. That's what I thought they were doing.
When we were again for the third, fourth time in this, when we were living in Wisconsin, I learned about ice fishing culture, and it's different there. I've seen it in Michigan, but it is really something else. I'm like, you go to certain lakes that are these really big, big, big lakes, and they've got a whole system of. They literally build the counties will come and basically build roads on the ice, where they'll plow out certain sections, and those are the roads that you take as you're going to your little shanties. It really was interesting, and it's a religion out there.
Yeah.
It is definitely. And kids get cranky if it's too warm to ice fish or too warm to snowmobile, because when it was really cold, I mean, we had kids that would snowmobile to school. So, because they can, because you can be like 14 and riding your snowmobile around. So you'd see like, a dozen, snowmobiles parked in front of school instead of bikes and snowmobiles.
There you go. So exactly, and of course, if you want a bike, you can get one of those bikes with a big, fat tires, and you can bike.
You can mountain bike in the winter.
And mountain bike in the winter, or
Yes.
again, it's a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah. So there's definitely plenty of things to do both inside and outside if you're going to do your winter thing. One of the things that we used to do, and we used to do something called winter camp. It was through the TES, Teacher Environment School. And we did that for a number of years, and it was really fun. And it was basically, we'd go up to the McMullen Center off of Higgins Lake, up in kind of up above the Thumb in Michigan. And it was just it was educational. You learned how to do different things, or you learned different skills, or you learned different things about the environment or nature. And I would love to do something like that again. The good news is there are actually a couple of different outdoor survival groups that run programs in the state of Michigan during the wintertime. I think a couple of them are actually all female groups, so that you could learn how to make a fire and keep yourself alive if you get stuck out in the middle of nowhere in winter and you need to survive.
Mhm.
So, you can learn how to do that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's fun.
Fun. Exactly. So, but yeah, I think, have we talked about all of what we want to talk about?
I think so. We've talked about you can do things that are inside and cozy, or you can do things that are outside and active, or you can do a cozy thing and then an active thing, or do an active thing and then get all cozy.
I'm big on active then cozy.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So so if you're one of those people like, oh, there's nothing to do in the winter, I'm like, well, here you go. There's all kinds of fun stuff. You don't have to do all of it. You can find a few things that you like.
And you don't have to spend your winter death scrolling. Let's just start with that. There are things that you can do that do not involve death scrolling. So I sometimes feel like some of the things that we talked about, especially some of the things that you talked about, as far as those fun, crafty things, that people have replaced those fun, crafty things with death scrolling instead. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
You don't have to.
No. So
I mean,
you can if you want,
but
aren't
you tired of it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yes, good. All right. So well done, everybody. You have spent another 54 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put this back on. There it is. You spent another 4 minutes spending an hour learning things about stuff with the brothers sisters. This week we talked about winter activities that you can do both indoors and outdoors to keep you busy, to keep your mind sharp, to keep you doing things, to keep you from death scrolling all the time. So thank you so much for spending that time for us. And remember, we want to hear from you. Please answer our poll question, leave comments, give us your questions, concerns, comments, or confessions. Confessions of a cozy person.
Exactly.
Mm.
We, confessed today about my about torturing Jenny with my cheating in board games.
Yes.
And
the fact that my mother abandoned me in more than one location in Sturgis, Michigan. Sorry, Mom. I know you feel bad about that, but we keep bringing it up 50 years later. But
it's like if I was with Jenny, we never got left anywhere because I was like hyper vigilant.
Mhm.
It's like, come on, Jenny, let's go, dragging her away from the TV. But if I wasn't there, that's when she got left.
Totally.
Mhm.
Because I always figured somebody would just come get me. Very trusting, still far too trusting.
Somewhere Anne will come and get me.
Yeah.
Anne won't leave me here.
Well, and I guess it probably would have occurred to me at one point that maybe I would have gotten. I'm like, I don't think in that time it never really occurred to me that Mom left me. I'm like, I never thought you that. Yeah. And then she came back, and I was like, left me.
She left you. And Jenny's,
Yeah.
I never get left. I was making sure because I knew she was planning it. They were going to drop me off at some rest stop in Oklahoma. I was sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she was thinking about that.
Maybe she
Anyway,
was. Anyway.
hey, just a quick reminder that you can support the Brothers Sisters for absolutely free. Help us pay for the therapy for Anne's being sure she was going to get left behind and me getting left behind. You can help us pay for therapy by following us, liking us, subscribing, leaving a review on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Please put the word out to your friends and family. Like, follow, subscribe, leave a review. Sharing is caring. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what's up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, join us next week. Join us next week when we have our New Year's resolution show. Viva the resolutions! We'll talk about making your resolutions, breaking your resolutions, why you shouldn't feel guilty about any of that resolution stuff. So, these things happen. Hey, I'm going to start our fun music.
Excellent.
The outro music. There it is.
I don't know.
There it is. Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, so yes, we'll see you guys next week, probably back on Sunday. Until then, I am Janice Brothers, and with me
It's Ann Brothers.
And we want you to get out there and do something smart, do something dumb, do something fun. We are out of here.
Bye.